Hi, previously we've done a video showing the different adjustments and connections that are available on our subwoofer amplifiers, and we decided today to shoot this video in the Axiom electronic prototyping lab, which is all these components that are behind us in these little containers. We wanted to talk a little bit more about the part of the amplifier, the subwoofer amplifier, that you don't see. Because from the outside, most amplifiers look pretty similar between different companies' subwoofers. It's a flat plate of metal. Sometimes there'll be a heatsink, sometimes there won't be. But basically they're all rectangular or square plates on the back of the subwoofer. Now, that's important because it's the interface that you, the customer, has with the subwoofer for making the connections and the adjustments. But the real meat of the amplifier is going on the inside. And it's on the inside, the part that unfortunately you can't see. It tells us a lot about the quality of the amplifier and really where your money's going. Now, all Axiom amplifiers, whether they be subwoofer amplifiers or standalone amplifiers, use something called a linear power supply. And all that means is that it's a fairly old school, large toroidal power transformer, large filter capacitors. And if you look at many amplifiers for subwoofers that are on the market now, they use something called a switching power supply. So they're much less bulky, they're much lighter. In many ways they're more efficient, at least in standby. But one of the reasons that we use a linear power supply is, frankly, we feel that it sounds a lot better. You have better dynamic capability, better headroom. A linear power supply can respond to current demands much more quickly than a switching power supply. One of the other things that many people don't realize is that switching power supplies don't have a very long life in general. Most subwoofer amplifiers, if something fails on them, it's usually this switching power supply. One thing that's a real telltale is to look at any manufacturer's subwoofer that you're thinking of buying, look at what their warranty is. The warranty for the amplifier should be the same length of time as the warranty for the whole subwoofer. In the case of Axiom subwoofers, that's 5 years on everything. Many manufacturers will only warranty the amplifier, the electronics portion, for 1 year. That should be a little bit of a red flag as to why the manufacturer doesn't have confidence in the amplifier to warranty it for the same length as the loudspeaker. Because frankly, the amplifier should last as long as your subwoofer, the rest of the subwoofer. So it's one thing to look at. So this is a reason that we use a conventional linear power supply. A, because it sounds better, B, because they last longer. Now, the power supply, well, it's the heart of the amplifier, is the amplifier board itself. And all of the amplifiers in Axiom subwoofers are Class D or switching amplifiers. This is a class of amplifier that's very efficient. They run extremely cool, which is also important for longevity. And they're completely designed and manufactured in-house. So one of the reasons that that's also important is that if you look at many manufacturers, they're buying so-called plate amplifiers for their subwoofers off the shelf from some company that's designed the entire amplifier. One of the issues with this is that you can never really guarantee every component that goes into the amplifier, and this also has an impact on longevity. Every single component on our amplifier boards, on our DSP boards, are sourced and supplied by us. And in terms of critical components, they're actually sourced here in North America, and they're sent to our vendor for populating in Asia. Now, why is that important? It's another area where you want to have very tight control over the manufacturing of your product, because frankly there's a lot of counterfeit parts out there, and those can have a huge impact on not only the sound quality of your subwoofer amplifier, but how long it lasts. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of background as to why our subwoofer amplifiers are more traditional in that they use one of these large transformers. They're fairly heavy. It's all for quality and for making the subwoofer amplifier last. Thank you very much.